You just swallowed something you were never meant to swallow, and for a split second your body goes quiet, like it's holding its breath with you. Then your throat tightens, your chest jumps, and your nervous system hits the alarm. This isn't food. This is danger, and the countdown has already started. Second 0, your body asks one brutal question. Is this in the airway or the food pipe? Because if it's in the airway, the rules change instantly. Your larynx, your voice box, slams shut to protect your lungs. That's why you cough. Coughing isn't panic, it's physics. A pressure blast meant to eject invaders. If airflow is blocked, oxygen drops, and your brain starts rationing power. You feel it as panic, confusion, and that terrifying hunger for air. But if it slides past the airway and into the esophagus, your lungs are spared, and a different kind of race begins. Subscribe to Dark Truth for extreme body science, fast, clear, and unforgettable. Minute 1. Gravity and muscle waves, peristalsis. Try to push the object down like a conveyor belt. Saliva ramps up because your body thinks, more lubrication, more slip. Get it out of here. Here's a tension point question. Is the danger over just because you can breathe? No. Some of the most dangerous swallowed things don't kill with choking. They harm you silently, deep inside, while you're still talking. And the esophagus has natural pinch points. That's why a small object can get stuck. And why the feeling can be strange. Pressure behind the breastbone, pain when swallowing, or a sensation that something is still there even after it moved. Now the story splits into categories because the body reacts differently depending on what you swallowed. Category 1, something that burns without flames. The button battery. It's small, shiny, coin-like. It can look like a harmless swallowed penny, but inside your body it can behave like a tiny electrical device pressed against wet tissue. If a button battery lodges in the esophagus, moisture can complete a circuit on its surface. That current can generate a highly alkaline environment right where the battery touches tissue. Think chemical burn powered by electricity. And this can start quickly, sometimes within just a couple of hours. As the burn progresses, swelling can tighten the space even more, trapping the battery like a clamp. And here's the part that feels unfair. Early symptoms can be vague. Some people just drool. Some feel something stuck. Some feel a sore throat. Some feel nothing dramatic, until the damage is already underway. So here's the real question. What would you notice if the danger was happening quietly? Now switch objects. Category 2. Something that turns your intestines into a trap. Magnets. One magnet is often just a foreign object problem. 2 or more magnets are a geometry problem inside a moving folding tube. Picture your intestines as a long looping ribbon. Now imagine 2 tiny magnets in different loops. They don't need to touch to cause damage, because they can snap together through the bowel walls, pulling 2 separate loops into a forced embrace. That means tissue gets pinched in between like fabric caught in a closing door. At first, you might feel almost nothing, but trapped tissue can lose blood flow. Pressure rises, the wall weakens, holes can form, abnormal connections, fistulas can develop between loops that were never meant to touch. And the scary part? Multiple magnets can stack and look like one object on an X-ray. The outside story can look simple while the inside geometry turns lethal. Which of these silent killers is more terrifying? A. The button battery? Or B. Magnets? Let me know in the comments. Now we're moving to the next category. Category 3. Something sharp. A fishbone, a toothpick, a piece of plastic. Sharp objects can scrape, hook, or pierce. Sometimes they pass with nothing more than irritation. Sometimes they lodge and create a slow-motion emergency. A tiny tear, swelling, infection risk, or a perforation that doesn't announce itself with Hollywood-level pain. So here's a specific question. Would you trust "I feel okay" as proof that a sharp object is harmless? Now, hard pivot. Category 4. A liquid that burns. Caustic ingestion. This doesn't poison you the way a toxin does. It injures you by destroying tissue on contact. Some alkalis can cause deep, penetrating injury that leaves tissue soft and fragile. Some acids can cause intense surface damage. Either way, your mouth and throat may burn. But here's the twist most people don't expect. The amount of pain doesn't perfectly predict the depth of injury. You can have serious injury with less dramatic early symptoms, and you can have intense pain with more limited damage. Minute to hour range. Swelling becomes the next threat. Swelling in the throat can narrow the airway. Swelling in the esophagus can turn swallowing into a nightmare, even for saliva. And then the medical clock can get weird. Clinicians often try to assess caustic injury early because later the damaged tissue can become more fragile, even if the pain feels less intense. Then your body starts repair mode. Repair sounds good, until you realize repair can mean scarring. Scarring can tighten the tube over weeks, leaving a lasting narrowing called a stricture. Here's a question you should be asking. Why do some injuries get worse after the first day? Because inflammation arrives in waves. Tissue that was damaged can continue to break down. The body is cleaning up, and the cleanup can swell tight spaces. Now, another sudden shift. Category 5. A liquid that doesn't burn, but ambushes the lungs. Hydrocarbons, like lighter fluid, gasoline, some lamp oils. The main threat may not be the stomach. The danger is aspiration. Tiny amounts getting into the airway, especially if vomiting happens. Hydrocarbons can spread across lung surfaces and irritate them, disrupting oxygen exchange. The result can be coughing, breathing trouble, and lung inflammation that can evolve over hours. So here's the tension question. If the stomach can handle a lot, why are the lungs so unforgiving? Because your lungs exchange oxygen across an ultra-thin barrier. Anything that coats or inflames that barrier can crash the system. Now, let's talk about invisible objects. Category 6. Things that grow after you swallow them. Water beads. Superabsorbent polymer beads. They look harmless, but in the body, they can absorb fluid and expand. What went down small can become a blockage later, sometimes after you've stopped worrying. And now, the category that tricks people the most, because it can start calm. Category 7. Delayed toxins. Some substances don't attack the surface. They get absorbed, then start hijacking internal systems. Quietly, methodically. You can swallow something harmful, feel almost normal, and then hours later, your brain chemistry shifts, your heart rhythm destabilizes, your breathing drive falters, or your liver gets forced into a metabolic trap as it tries to process what you took in. In some poisonings, the body's own metabolism can turn one chemical into a more dangerous one. If that mechanism is uncertain for a specific substance, the principle still stands. Timing can be deceptive, and delayed injury is real. Here's the rule your body lives by. The absence of early drama does not equal safety. Zoom out. When you swallow something dangerous, your body tries 3 things, always in this order. First, protect the airway. Second, push the threat along. Third, contain and repair. And those steps are exactly why different threats have different clocks. Choking is a seconds to minutes problem. A lodged battery can become an hours problem. Magnets can become a silent damage while you wait problem. Sharp objects can hide damage until inflammation catches up. Caustics can injure now, then scar later. Hydrocarbons can shift the battleground from gut to lungs. Expandable objects can delay the crisis until the blockage is complete. Delayed toxin effects can trick you into false reassurance, right before organs start losing the fight. Final takeaway, no drama, just reality. If someone swallows something dangerous or unknown, treat it as time critical and get professional help fast. The risk depends on what it was, where it is, and what it's doing to living tissue. Because your body is brilliant, but it is not invincible. It can't adapt to a battery burning against soft tissue. It can't willpower magnets apart. It can't always warn you with pain in time. Tap and subscribe to the channel for more such interesting videos.